Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to another session. I'll be discussing about, we've been talking about Git and GitHub, and today we're focusing on what it means to fork a particular repository, and also we'll try to look at pull requests also today. So those are the two things we'll be focusing on. So remember, I created a separate GitHub account. The username of that GitHub account is Amobi Obikobe, and that's the one we've been working with. Right now, I took the link of the project we've been working on. I got that particular link, and that's what I have opened up here on my web page, and I'm logged in as a second user. This second user is Victor Rex 27. It's a different user from the user that the normal user we've been using. Now, this user does not have access to this particular repo, in the sense that Victor Rex 27 is not a collaborator on this project, but he would like to work on this project. He wants to work on this project. He wants to add his 2 cents on this project. So how is he going to do it if Amobi Bikobe does not make him a collaborator? So the first thing he can do here is to fork the project. So when you're talking about forking the project, it's like you having a copy of that project on your own GitHub repository. If you wanted to have a copy of this exact project, you don't want it. Yeah, Amobi Bikobe owns it, but you don't want to be working directly on Amobi Bikobe's own, because he didn't make you a collaborator. What you can actually try to do is you fork this project. When you fork this project and you check your repository, then you're going to see this project up as part of the projects in your repository, and then you can clone it from there and start working on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to come to this particular place you see me hovering around here, which is fork. You can see that nobody has forked this, so the count is 0, right? So what I'm going to do is to create a new fork. Remember again, I'm logged in as a separate user. I'm not logging in as Amobi Bikobe, because if you look at the project here, you can see it's Amobi Bikobe / animals. But right now, I'm forking the project. It's going to be like it's my own project on my own GitHub repository. So this is Victor Rex 27 / animals. This is what we are creating right now. So Victor Rex 27 will be the owner of this and not Amobi Obikobe. So I can put a description here if I like. If I want to copy the main branch only, I can tick this. If I want to copy other branches, then it's fine that I untick this, but I just want to deal with the main branch for now. So I just click on create fork. Now it's creating the fork right now, and it's done with that. Okay, it's still doing it. It says it should only take a few seconds, so we'll just wait, and this is it. So the first thing you will notice is that this particular should I call this a breadcrumb or what, up here has changed from Obikobe Amobi / animals to Victor Rex 27 / animals, and then I have the code here. I still have the same number of commits. Everything is still up to date, right? And then you can see that, oh, this is where you forked it from. You forked it from a particular project. So if I open this in another tab, I want us to check the number of forks that we have there. So I'm opening Amobi Bikobe's project, and then I can see the number of forks now 1. So what does this help me do? If I make any change even to the main branch here, it's not going to affect. If I make any change to the main branch for user VictorX27. It's not going to affect the main branch of Amobi Bikobe because they are now two different projects. They have the same history, but they are now two different projects, meaning in the sense that two different people own them. Amobi can keep on working on whatever he wants to work on, while Victor X27 can keep on working on whatever he wants to work on. An example I would give is was it Ethereum? There was a time they forked a particular project from Ethereum. I can't remember what the project is right now. I can't remember the exact project, but it's like having that copy of Ethereum and then you're branching off from there. So you have all the history to that particular same set day. Then whatever change Ethereum is making on their code can keep on flying like that. Why whatever change you're making on your own code from that particular point is going to be totally different from what Ethereum is doing because you've branched out from their own stuff. So this is the same thing that we are doing here. Like we are not talking about branch, but in the sense of the history that we have on our Git logs, whatever I'm doing right here now is going to be different from whatever I'm doing right here as Victor X27 is going to be different from whatever Amobi Kobe is doing. There's a way I can actually bring my changes into what Amobi Kobe was doing to say, hey, I just made some update and I would like you to actually put this inside your code. But we'll get to that. So right now, I'm going to close this because we are not working with this. What we're working with is the one for Victor X27 because that's the owner of this system. That's the owner of this GitHub account, and that's the VS Code is also set up for Victor X27. So what I can do is I can clone this. With what I'm going to do, I'm going to select SSH. I'm going to copy this, come down to my GitHub repository, to my VS Code, I mean. So in my VS Code, I want to see it to my documents folder. I want to see it to my project folder. So see I'm changing my directory. I'm using the command line to change the directory. So I want to make a directory called animals, or I can just use the git clone command here. Say git clone. So it's cloning that particular project into the animals folder. And so in my project directory, I can see an animals folder, and then I can change my directory into the animals folder. Yep. And now I can open it in VS Code by just writing code dots. Then I can close this particular project I have here. Okay. Okay. So I just want to open the terminal here. Yeah, I trust this folder and continue. Okay, okay. So my terminal is showing me that I'm on the main branch. One best practice, I never want us to work on the main branch. So anytime we're working on a particular feature, we have to create a feature branch. If we're working on what we call a chore, you create a chore branch, and if you're working on a bug fix, you create a fix or a bug branch, right? So I'm just going to be making a very tiny update to what we have here. Um, this info text 2. So in info text 1, I'm going to write the name of this GitHub account, right? But before I do that, I'm just going to create a branch to do that. I'll create my branch, add my changes to the branch, then I'll merge those changes from my branch to the main branch on this particular project. So I'm going to run git checkout -b because I'm creating a new branch. I'm going to call it feature name. So I have that branch. I've created that branch and I've switched over to that branch. So inside that branch, I'm going to just write just a small comment. So the name of the GitHub user that added this line is VICTYX27, and I'll put a full stop. So this is just what I'm adding to the line here. So I'm going to do the git add command to send it to the staging area first of all. So I have git add dot as usual, and I hit that. Then git commit -m, and I add name of the author. So we've made one insertion to this project. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I want to check out my main branch. Git checkout main. I'm checking out to my main branch. Now my main branch, which does not have that particular change that we made. So inside the main branch, I'm going to merge from my feature branch into my main branch. So I'm doing a git merge command, and the name of the branch I'm merging from. Now it has done a fast forward, has added the changes into our main branch. Remember, we are now in our main branch, and we can find that out by running git branch. And we can see that the main branch is asterisk. I set up VSH here, oh my ZSH, sorry, ZSH, and you can also see from there that this is actually the main branch is written here on this Linux system. So with this, I can then do a git push and push the changes up to my own remote branch. Now we've pushed up to our remote branch here. So if I come back to this, I can reload this and see that there's a new change. Now I have 12 commits. Previously I had 11 commits, but right now it's now 12. So an update was just made now. Let's just wait for this page to finish loading. So you can see that an update was made here 2 minutes ago. Add name of author. is the commit message on this particular file here. And now you can see that this branch is one commit ahead of Amobi Obikobe's branch that we forked from. So remember I said that there is also a way we can take our changes from the forked branch to that particular user's branch that we forked it from. Like, hey, I noticed you didn't write so stuff. I noticed you didn't put this particular feature. So I forked your branch. I added that feature, and I would like you to also test that feature to see if it is working. And if you're okay with it, you can commit it to your code so that anybody that wants to use your code can also get to use the work that I just did right now, right? So that's what we are going to be doing here. That's the second part of this particular project. We need to send this code to the original owner, which is Amobi Bikobe, and we need him to review whatever we've done and then make his own contribution, or you just approve our code and then that's all. That's fine. But from our own side like this, we can just keep on going and making changes here. If we don't really need those changes to be on the main user's code, I can just create a new product from this, right? But because of this demonstration purpose, let me just send this code back to the owner so that he can also update his own repository to have the particular changes that I have also made on my own forked project. So I'm going to come to contribute, and that's where a pull request comes in. So we'll be opening what we call a pull request. Now, what the pull request is we are taking our branch, right, with the update, and we are asking this user to pull our code, check whatever we have done, and then merge it into his own branch. That's basically what we are doing. We are saying we've made this change. Just this is a description of the changes that we made. You're going to write a description of the changes that were made here. Then the user needs to run the code to see if it's actually working. If nothing is broken, then he can accept those changes. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to check, is this change that we made, is it okay to be merged into the main branch? We can see from here it says able to merge. These branches can be automatically merged, so we are fine. There's nothing like conflict, and this is where conflict comes up again. If this user's branch has moved away, then there might be a conflict, and then we need to resolve that conflict before we raise this pull request. But this is actually fine, so I can go ahead and make the pull request. Please, also something else you need to consider is that you can see that currently I'm on my main branch, right? And I'm also comparing it to the main branch of the user. I'm comparing it to the same branch. I'm not comparing it to another branch because I want those changes to be in the main branch. It's possible for you to compare it to another branch, but in our case we're just doing main branch, and most times you're going to see that you're just doing it for just the main branch in this particular case that we're talking about here. So I'm going to click on create a pull request. If you want to learn more about pull requests, you can just click on this link here and then learn more about it. So I'm going to click on that, and then the title of my pull request, I'm going to leave it at this as add name of or let me change it to feature add, or let me write it like this: user should be able to add the name of author. So in the description, I'm just going to write add name of author to info1.txt, and then I'll create my pull request. Okay, so you can see it says Victor X27 wants to merge one commit to this and this. So we are done with this guy. So I'm going to move over to the other system, and then I'll be working as Mobile Bikobe, right? And I'll be trying to merge that pull request. So let me share my screen from this other system. This is the current state of our code right now from user Amobi Bikobe, right? I haven't refreshed it, so you can't see, you're not going to be able to see any update here. So I need to refresh that first of all. Let's forget about this for now. So where I want you to go to is in this top corner here. You can see code, issues, pull request. I want us to click on pull request here. So this is the owner of the project. This is the owner of the main project that we're working on, and you can see that he can see that this project has been forked once, right? So I can click on pull request here, or you need to click on pull request, and then you review someone's pull request. So usually in a team, if you have a team of software engineers, there is usually a senior engineer or someone that reviews the code of other people. So you don't just push your code to the main branch. You know, I showed you how to merge from your feature branch to your main branch, or whichever branch you want to do that. But you see that in industry, you don't merge into the main branch. You can merge into other feature branches, but when you want to push change to the main branch that others are also working on, you don't directly merge into that branch. You need to create a pull request. Your pull request needs to be studied. Someone needs to look at it, needs to test it and see that everything is fine before they approve it, so that you don't break the code, because a lot of people can be pushing into that main branch. There needs to be a history of what's going on, the description of what you did, where those changes were made, right? And so you create a pull request so that one of your teammates or a superior or a supervisor can actually validate that the changes you've made will not break the code. So I'm going to go here. I have one open pull request. I have 0 closed pull request. This is the particular pull request that was created by Victor X27. I can see that it was opened 3 minutes ago. I can see the title of the pull request. It says feature users should be able to add the name of author. So I can click on this pull request here. I can open the pull request, look at it. I can see that this is a first time contributor. This user is a first time contributor to the animals repository. I don't have an issue with that. I can also see that this branch has no conflict with the base branch, which is also fine. So let's look at this particular commit that was made. I can see the line of code that was changed, and this is what the user wrote. The name of the GitHub user that added this line is Victor X27. So what I can come here and do is I just need to, sometimes you can see stuff like, I think when you are using Bitbucket, you can see stuff like approve and then before you merge. But since these are the options that we have here, I'm just going to merge this pull request. I'm going to confirm the merge, and then these changes are going to come into my project. So it says here, Amobi merge commit this into this now. And so if I come to my animals project, I can see this particular commit is already there, and if I check the content of this particular file, I can see what was added. That the name of the GitHub user that added this line is Victor X27. I can see that that's been added inside here. by that particular user. So we've done two things here. Number one, we're able to fork someone else's project. So we have that copy on our own repository, and then we can make any change. When you fork a project, you are you can create a totally separate project, but with the whole history of that particular project that you have. So we have the same, our log history was the same up to the point of where I forked the project. And if I decided to do any change there, the original project is not going to have any of those changes. Yes, hold on. Yes, I was trying to get the name of the project that was forked from Ethereum. That's Ethereum Classic. Exactly. So that was Ethereum Classic. In Because that project was forked, it had the same history with the original Ethereum up to the point where it was forked. So that's where they branched out totally. That's the first part we treated here. The second part that we treated now is okay, I've made those changes to my forked repository, but I want the original repository to have this particular change that I made. So how do we do that? We created a pull request, and that pull request was back to the original repository. The owner of the original repository has to check whatever change that I've done, has to approve that change, and has to merge it into his own repository. If he's not confident with what I've done, he can he can reject he can reject that pull request. So if he rejects that pull request, I'm not going to get the changes that I made into his own project. I'm not going to get those changes there, right? So this in a nutshell is fork and pull request. Now pull request doesn't just work with forked repository. So if everyone is working on a particular repository, so we have a team of 5 engineers working in a particular repository. I said by convention, we don't merge into the main branch. So I want that to be like at the back of our mind that we are never going to merge into the main branch. So when everybody's making a code change, it's going to create a feature branch. In that feature branch, you write your code inside that feature branch. And when you're done with that feature branch, you will push that code to to the remote repository. And then the pull request will come into play. You create a pull request. So anybody that's assigned to check that pull request is going to check it, validate it, and then confirm your changes and can then merge those changes into the repository. So this is the way we are going to be working. So I'm going to give an assignment with this. So the assignment is I want everybody to do what I've just done. Everyone's going to fork this particular repository. Everyone is going to add their own names. Everyone is going to add their own names, and everyone is going to create a pull request into this particular repository, which I'm going to merge. So that's going to be the assignment. I think that will be all for today. So we'll meet again on Thursday. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to like and also comment.